I'm going to test Mila to make sure that she doesn't have any sound phobias, that she's gun shy. And the reason for this is, well, there's many reasons actually, but one, we want to start using the dummy launcher with her and Ike. Look at who's riding shotgun. That's fucking little Ikey. Say hello. It's me, it's Ike. And teaching honoring. So, and the other thing is that her family has a place in the country, and I do believe that they do firearm sports. So you wouldn't want to have a dog around firearms that you hadn't checked this out with. If you take a dog that's never been around firearms and you shoot the gun, you know, a lot of times the dog will get so freaked out it takes off running and gets hit by a car or just gets lost. That's how freaked out they are. So one thing that you notice is I'm in a yard, a fenced-in yard right now, and even if I wasn't in a fenced-in yard, I'd have some kind of element of control where the dog was tied down. Now she's back there on a tire, and she has a leash on, and I also have an e-collar on her. I'm using a 22. This is a dummy launcher. It takes a 22 cartridge, and so it's not real loud. We're not even attempting the shotgun yet. So I'm going to do it from way back here, and then I'm going to move up. I got 4 different cartridges, and we'll see how she responds. Now I'm going to warn her right before I do this. I'm going to repeat the command, sit, right? Don't move, dog. And then she'll start, you know, we'll use this, and we'll just start working our way up. There's nothing worse than a sound phobic dog, and it's very common. It is. If your dog has sound phobias, don't do any of this like, oh, it'll be all right. That tone is basically telling the dog that, no, it's not going to be all right. You should be freaked out. Don't ever console a dog that's freaked out about anything like that. It makes it worse. So we're testing her for this, and, you know, we want to be able to use the dummy launcher with her and Ike. So at the very least, if a dog comes here and I know that the people shoot firearms, I'm going to test the dog and see how it is. And many times I'll just do this with house dogs just to find out if they're going to be sound phobic, like when they hear thunder. Those thunder shirts do not work. That is not going to be helpful. Okay? You can cure the dog that has the sound phobia, but you're not going to do it with a thunder shirt. You know what people say about those thunder shirts is, oh, the dog shakes less. So, Mila, sit! No! Sit! Get back up there. She heard her name, and we'll release the dog with its name. So she was sort of doing the right thing. I stopped her, and she stopped, you know, and was waiting. But we want to make sure that the dog is on the play circle. That's going to help the dog. Sit! That's good. Good. Sit. Oop. So I didn't see shyness. I didn't see like fearfulness. What I saw was a real excited dog jumping out of position, which the position was sit with Mila. So what we did was I used it again, but I put her in a high collar next to the barn. And then she wasn't showing any signs of anything, right? So we didn't want to leave it on that note. Now, we're back out in the field later. We let her calm down, and we're back out here about an hour later, and we're going to use the dummy launcher again. Now, the other thing that we'll do to acclimate the dog to the sound, the report of the dummy launcher, or to sounds in general, is we'll use another dog. We'll make sure that Mila's tied up in a high collar over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step out in front of the dog. And by the way, it makes less sound when the dummy's on it. Okay, so we already tested her from about 30 feet with this thing off of it. It's much louder. So now we're going to do some retrieves with Tonka, and she'll see that if she maintains, you get to do something fun. Tonka, here! Some maniac. Tonka is. Tonka, here. Tonka, no, thank you. Whoa. No, whoa, whoa. Good, good girl. See how she was nervous before? She knew I was going to do it. She's still a little excited, a little nervous, but, you know, she's all right. Mila, sit. No, sit. See how she's acting? See how she's just sitting? She's starting to see that, you know, this is something that's going to be positive. And that's what we want her to see, is that, like, you know, learning to put up with this sound. This sound is something good, you know. Tonka, here. No, here. Tonka's a fucking retard. He is. Come here, buddy. Now we're doing it differently. Now we're doing like a walking retrieve with the dummy launcher. That way, if there's any type of excitement, I can do leash flexing and tell the dog to be calm. I can also give the dog a correction that that's not the behavior that we want. We already did this in one session and she's acting normal. So with her, like, every dog's different. Like, some dogs you might make have the dog at 100 feet or something and get the dog used to it, the sound that way, and get closer. But with her, it doesn't matter. She really wants to be next to us and involved in the action. And by using the dummy launcher with Ike and Tonka, she'll see that it's something that she wants to do, and that Ike and Tonka don't act negatively around the dummy launcher, so she shouldn't respond like that either with the sound. So she's not, she's already sort of acting much more normal. So we'll continue doing this for some sessions before we even involve her in a retrieve. For her to be involved in a retrieve, she has to, she has to stay in a sitting position or in whoa. So she's never going to go on a retrieve unless we're just throwing the dummy to her, which we've already done that too. We want her to understand that this smell of gunpowder and the bird feathers is something totally positive. So now we just do retrieves, but she's right next to me. Here, sit. I'll put her at sit, and then I step on the leash. She goes in the down position. Okay. Well, she's already going for the retrieve now. That's what we want. We don't want her to be freaked out. It's okay for her to get excited. This is totally new to her, but she can't, we don't want her to get a bunch of forward motion. We want her to stay relatively calm and in the sit position. She's getting this. Here, down. Step on the leash. I'm stepping on the leash real close. No, down. Down. Okay. She's going on the retrieve. She's trying to go on the retrieve. That's why I'm stepping on the leash. She is not responding as a gun-shy dog at this point. This has been a very short period of time to get the dog to see that this is nothing that she shouldn't like. And if you have a dog that's sound phobic, you have to work with them. And if it's sound phobic to thunder, that's a problem, because how often does it thunder? So you have to work with the dog. Like, you look at the weather, and if the weather says there's going to be thunderstorms, get ready. You're going to work with the dog. You have to do this, or else the dog's in this state of, like, super excitement. Fear, all that shit. It's just, you know, lump that into one group of excitement. Ike, here. Drop. not making Ike stay or anything. I'm just, this is all for her. You understand? We're out here, we're just using Ike, but he doesn't really have to do anything other than go get it for me. There, see, she's not responding negatively now. Nothing. Nothing. She's fixed. She's fixed. Good girl. Good girl. And it's just like, it's the same drill as before. No, down. I just want her to get used to this. So we are teaching honoring while we're doing this. She wants to go on the retrieve at this point. This is just excitement. She is not staying at heel though. Sit. Sit. Down. So on the next Tonka here, heel. Sit. Now this is going to be louder. It's great. She's looking great. Beautiful. Little movement, not bad. She's concentrating on Tonka. I'm not going to call Tonka back right now. She's got it. She knows what's making the noise. Here, heel. No! Sit! Good. That's good. No. Whoa. Whoa. Good. Here. That's fun. It's been about 24 hours since I found out that Mila had gun shyness, and she's already responding appropriately, meaning when she hears the gunshot, she needs to just stay in position and not go crazy, not get real excited. Even though that one of the dogs is going on the retrieves, and at times you see that when I release the dog, I'm not really releasing the dog, I'm just having the dog go get my shit right now. I'm just, you know, like fun bumpers I'm giving it. But when the dog goes to get the retrieve, you see this dog, Mila, the one that had gun shyness, she wants to go on the retrieve. She's popping out of sit, going in the direction that the dog that's going on the retrieve is going. So that's what we want. We want her to see that using the dummy launcher is just a fun activity, and she gets to hang out with other dogs, and she gets to hang out with me, and she gets to do retrieves. It's real easy. So if you have a gun-shy dog, you could try, like I did with the dog right next to me with a really small caliber gun, you know, and if the dog gets excited, give it leash flexing or tell it no. That's important. If there's any type of fear state or a super excited state in your dog, that you don't console the dog. It's very important that you tell the dog no. If you use a pleasing tone with the dog, like, oh, it'll be all right, what you're saying to the dog is like, be afraid. It's a positive tone. You want to give it a negative tone. No, don't do that. Do this. Sit. I hope this makes sense. Don't turn your dog into a freak by consoling it. It's a dog. It's nothing like a human being. A human being, you may try and explain things to. Like, no, there isn't a monster under your bed. Right? But with a dog, you don't. They're not cerebral like us. They aren't. They really don't. They respond. They don't ponder thought. So if they're doing something inappropriate, tell them no. Don't do that. It's that simple. So we'll work with Mila and Tonka and Ike some more, and I give Mila like 3 or 4 more days, something like that, and I'll have her to the point where she's itching to go on the retrieve at this point. You know, that's what we want to see. We want to see a dog that wants to go on the retrieve, that doesn't care about the noise, that associates the noise with something fun. That's all it is. Your dog, when it does that, when it's gun shy and everything, it's just like an extreme form of excitement. Tell it not to be that way. Use a leash. when they're puppies, when they're young, and I'm feeding them, I'll take like a cast iron pan and a hammer and smack them together, making a real loud pressure wave. That's the first thing that I sort of, you know, start habituating the dog to loud sounds. I do that when the dog's eating. I'm not classically conditioning the dog to that sound. I'm just sort of habituating the dog to a loud sound.